really understanding that the transformation of the object
Yeah.
is really the reciprocal process is a transformation of the self, which I know is really a core part of what your understanding of the whole creative process is. I like what you said, that the drawing exercise is not about coming up with a drawing.
No.
It's about
your relationship with the plant, or the way you see nature, the way you perceive nature. It's not a three-dimensional thing, it's a living entity. And how do you communicate with that? Or can you communicate with it by drawing it in a way that is ensouled and therefore enlivens you back as you do it?
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. Oh, I'm really looking forward to doing that. And then the conversation with the participants is, how do we take these two styles of being back into the studio, where we're working with natural dyes, and we're seeing where they come from out of the garden around here, and we're taking something old and turning it into something new.
I really love transforming things that so often we have things that are precious, but we can't actually use them anymore, because maybe as clothes they don't fit anymore, or they have, they're a bit torn or stained or something, but it's still precious. So transforming that is such a beautiful practice, not just discarding it and getting something new.
So what would that transformation look like, sort of, in terms of what we're looking to do together in a week?
So we could be over-dyeing, because maybe we don't like the initial color anymore, or it has faded. So over-dyeing, and then in the process of over-dyeing, putting pattern into it as well, with the batik or shibori. And then we could use embroidery stitching. And that could be used in a way, a bit like the drawing, where we actually don't come from an outline, but we start to stitch, and then it grows organically.
Yeah.
And that can create some beautiful points of interest, in your clothing, or in a cushion that you make out of some clothing that you don't use anywhere. You make a cushion cover from it or something.
I also think that the mud dyeing could be because that's like straight out of the dirt here.
I'm really looking forward to that, because that's not something that I have done before.
But still, where you paint on the mud is where you end up with the color. So you can dye the whole piece, but it can be a surface design process as well. Yeah.
There are lots of exciting opportunities and options to play with, to kind of. I always like to really be in the moment and see what's happening, rather than having a preconceived idea.
Yeah, very few are going to actually build Balinese shrines around their house and start doing this. So, what are the themes, the practice? What's the inner experience of that that we could find new ways to explore in our own lives?
Yeah.
And for me, having done this around the house for 30 years, it's that inner experience.
Yeah.
So my hope is that the conversation that we can have between Balinese, looking at Balinese practice and sort of mimicking and trying to find some way into it ourselves, the sketching work that you're talking about doing, the transforming with the textiles, all give people a way to start to find who they are in relationship to all of this. It may look like a complete discontinuity from what we have been doing with Threads of Life. It's all been about traditional textiles.
Yeah.
But I feel that there has always been an ecological message implicit in these textiles. These women who are custodians of these traditions have been resisting modernity in order to maintain this. And the essence of that resistance is a relationship to the earth that they are embodying in the textiles that they're making. So that message has been implicit in everything we've put on the walls and that we put in the gallery. In the workshops that we've been doing, the textile workshops, we've gone more directly into that relationship by talking about natural dye plants, gathering dye plants, making dyes, using those dyes. So it's been, but again, it's been an implicit conversation. We haven't been bold enough to actually talk about our relationship to the world, in contrast to these traditions. So I feel like what we're able to do now, what we're talking about doing now, is making that explicit. So it's still related to those other two things, to the way it's been done traditionally, to what we experience with working with the dye plants. But here we're gonna have a direct conversation about it.
It's like a meeting point.
Yeah. But I'm not in terms of a lecture, but it's like, this is a space for conversation.
Yeah.
And we're not going to talk about it intellectually. We're going to explore it creatively.